My friends, there is an invisible enemy that doesn't roar like a lion, doesn't strike like a snake, yet it quietly steals dreams, weakens minds, and kills destinies. That enemy is laziness. My friend, laziness is not what most people think it is. It's not just lying on a bed doing nothing or skipping a task. No, laziness is far more dangerous, far more silent, and far more powerful than we realize. Laziness is a disease of the heart, a quiet enemy that hides behind comfort, behind excuses, behind the illusion that you still have time. It whispers gently, "You can do it tomorrow. You deserve to rest. It's okay to wait." But day after day, that whisper turns into chains that bind your purpose, your vision, and your destiny. Laziness destroys not with noise, but with silence. It eats away at your strength, your focus, your discipline, until one day you look back and realize how much you've lost, not because someone stole it from you, but because you surrendered it to idleness. You see, the greatest tragedy is not failure. The greatest tragedy is potential that was never used. There are countless people who never fail simply because they never try. They never rise, never build, never stretch themselves, because the silent voice of laziness told them, "It's too hard," or "You can do it later." And later becomes never. Laziness is the enemy of destiny. It kills purpose one delay at a time. It hides behind good intentions. You tell yourself, "I will start when I feel ready," but readiness never comes. You wait for inspiration, but inspiration only visits those who are already moving. The truth is, every dream, every calling, every goal requires action. Faith without works is dead, and so is vision without discipline. Laziness makes you believe that you can have success without sacrifice, growth without effort, and progress without pain. But that is a lie. Everything meaningful in life requires movement. The seed must break before it can grow. The muscle must tear before it becomes strong. Yet laziness convinces you that comfort is better than growth, that stillness is safer than struggle. And slowly, without realizing it, your dreams begin to die. Think about how many people once had great dreams to build, to write, to lead, to create. But they waited for the perfect moment, and that moment never arrived. They said, "I'll start next week." But weeks became months and months became years. The problem was never the lack of opportunity. It was the presence of laziness. The most dangerous word in the vocabulary of laziness is tomorrow. Tomorrow I will study. Tomorrow I will exercise. Tomorrow I will pray. Tomorrow I will begin. But every tomorrow that passes without action becomes another step away from destiny. Laziness also weakens the spirit. When you stop pushing yourself, when you stop striving, you lose the fire that once drove you. You become comfortable in mediocrity. You begin to settle for less, not because you can't do more, but because laziness convinces you that less is easier. But my friend, there is nothing easy about regret. There is no peace in wasted potential. The pain of discipline is temporary, but the pain of laziness lasts a lifetime. Every moment you give to laziness, you trade a piece of your future. You trade growth for ease, purpose for pleasure, progress for passivity. Laziness doesn't just destroy careers, it destroys character. It makes you unreliable, unmotivated, and unfulfilled. It poisons your confidence and blinds you to what you're capable of. The more you feed it, the stronger it becomes. The longer you tolerate it, the harder it is to escape. That is why you must see it for what it truly is, a thief of destiny. You cannot negotiate with laziness. You cannot wait for it to leave on its own. You must destroy it. You must rise every day with a warrior's spirit and say, "Not today, not my dream, not my life." Because the longer you let laziness live in you, the shorter your purpose will breathe. Vision is the fire that wakes you up in the morning and drives you through the storms of life. Without vision, the human spirit begins to decay. People who have no vision drift like leaves in the wind, carried by circumstances, ruled by feelings, guided by nothing. But when you have vision, a clear, burning sense of purpose, it becomes impossible to live a lazy life. Vision gives your soul direction. It tells your body when to rise, your mind what to focus on, and your heart what to fight for. Vision and discipline are partners. One gives you the destination, the other gives you the strength to reach it. Without one, the other dies. Laziness thrives where there is no vision. When you don't know what you're living for, every day feels the same. Every task feels meaningless. Every effort feels wasted. But when you have a picture in your heart of what you are becoming, when you see the future you are building, energy begins to rise within you. That vision wakes you up when sleep calls your name. It pushes you when your body says, "I'm tired." It reminds you that today's effort is the seed of tomorrow's harvest. People who succeed are not always the most gifted. They are simply the most focused. They have learned to discipline their actions to serve their vision. Discipline is the bridge between the dream and its reality. Many people have dreams, but only a few have the discipline to bring them to life. Discipline is not punishment, it is power. It is the ability to tell yourself no when everything in you wants to quit. It's the courage to stay consistent even when no one is watching. Discipline says, "I will do what I must, not just what I feel." Feelings change, but discipline stays. Feelings tell you to rest. Discipline tells you to rise. Feelings say, "Tomorrow will be better." Discipline says, "I will make today count." When vision burns within you, discipline becomes joy. You stop running from effort and start running toward it, because you know every act of diligence builds the life you were created to live. You must understand that laziness is not just about comfort. It is about confusion. People who lack vision cannot find purpose in their work. But when you know why you're doing something, even the smallest task becomes sacred. If your vision is to grow, to serve, to leave a mark on this world, then everything you do, from the simplest routine to the hardest challenge, becomes part of that purpose. The clearer your vision, the stronger your discipline. The stronger your discipline, the weaker your laziness. When you decide who you want to become, when you see it so clearly that it burns inside you, laziness begins to lose its grip. It cannot live in a heart that's on fire. Discipline becomes your natural rhythm because you have direction. Think of a river. When it has a channel, its flow is strong and powerful. But when it spreads out with no path, it becomes a stagnant swamp. Vision gives your energy direction, while discipline gives it flow. Without both, your life becomes still, unproductive, lifeless. Many people pray for success, but success does not come through prayer alone. It comes through disciplined action that honors your vision. If you want to change your future, start with small, consistent steps today. Wake up earlier, plan your hours. Guard your time. Do not let laziness steal even a minute from your destiny. You were not created to waste your strength on comfort. You were created to build, to create, to shine. So lift your eyes and see beyond where you are. Let vision give you passion, and let discipline give you progress. The moment you align the two, laziness loses its power over you, because when your purpose is alive, your spirit becomes unstoppable. And nothing, not fatigue, not fear, not failure, can keep you from the greatness you are meant to walk in. Excuses are the language of failure. They sound harmless, even reasonable, but they are poison to progress. Every excuse you make builds a wall between you and your destiny. They come in small, soft words. I'm too tired. I don't have time. It's not the right moment. I don't have what others have. These words may comfort you for a moment, but they slowly steal your power. Excuses allow laziness to live comfortably in your heart. They give you permission to remain still while life moves forward without you. You see, excuses are not born from truth. They are born from fear, doubt, and the desire to protect your comfort. Excuses are deceptive because they sound like wisdom. They tell you, wait until you're ready, or don't rush, it's not the perfect time. But my friend, the perfect time will never come. There is no perfect season to start. The moment you begin is what makes it perfect. Every time you postpone your action, you give laziness a seat at the table of your destiny. And laziness loves excuses. They are its food, its energy, its life. The more excuses you make, the stronger your laziness becomes. Excuses also come disguised as logic. You tell yourself, I don't have enough resources, I don't know the right people, or it's too difficult. But history is filled with people who had less than you and still made more of their lives. They didn't wait for conditions to change, they changed themselves. They refused to be victims of their environment. While others complained about the darkness, they lit a candle. While others said, I can't, they said, I'll try. What separates success from stagnation is not opportunity, it's attitude. Excuses blind you to the truth that everything you need to begin is already within you. The danger of excuses is that they create false peace. You feel justified in your inaction because you have a reason that sounds acceptable. You say, I didn't go after my dream because I had too much going on. You tell yourself, I didn't finish because I wasn't ready. But deep inside, you know the truth. You didn't move because laziness disguised itself as reason. Excuses protect laziness the way shadows protect darkness. As long as you keep making them, the light of discipline can't enter. You must understand this. Every time you make an excuse, you surrender a piece of your future. Every time you choose comfort over courage, you lose an opportunity to grow. Excuses keep you small because they keep you safe. And anything that keeps you safe from challenge also keeps you far from greatness. Life rewards the bold, not the comfortable. Growth comes when you stop explaining your limitations and start expanding your actions. Excuses will always be available. There will always be something in your life that's not perfect, some obstacle standing in your way. But people who rise above average are those who stop listening to excuses and start listening to their purpose. They know that success doesn't come to the most prepared, but to the most determined. You don't need the perfect plan, you need the courage to begin. Stop saying I can't, stop saying I'll try later, stop waiting for better conditions, tell yourself I will begin now. The moment you silence excuses, strength begins to grow. The mind clears, focus returns, and momentum builds. Action breaks laziness faster than any motivation ever could. When you stop speaking the language of excuses, you start speaking the language of victory. You move from I can't to I will. You move from waiting to doing, from dreaming to building. The world doesn't remember those who made excuses, it remembers those who acted in spite of them. So today, make a decision. No more excuses, no more delays. Break the chains that hold your potential hostage. Refuse to let excuses speak for you. Because when excuses die, your destiny finally begins to live. Everything great begins small. Every mighty tree began as a fragile seed buried beneath the soil. Every skyscraper started with a single brick. Every success story you admire began with someone taking one small, imperfect step. The tragedy is that many people never start because they despise small beginnings. They want the glory without the grind, the fruit without the planting, the reward without the discipline of daily effort. But the truth is, greatness grows slowly. It is built one faithful act at a time. Laziness convinces you that small steps don't matter, that little efforts are useless, that progress must be dramatic to be real. But that is a lie. The secret to every lasting success lies in consistency, doing the small things faithfully, even when no one is watching. Laziness hates small beginnings because they demand patience and humility. Laziness wants quick results, instant gratification, and visible success. But true growth often happens underground, unseen. Just as a seed spends time hidden in the soil before it breaks through, your preparation season may not be visible to others. You may be working quietly, building slowly, improving yourself daily, and it may feel like nothing is happening. But in those unseen moments, roots are growing, strength is forming, character is being built. When you commit to small beginnings, you are not wasting time. You are investing in your foundation. The danger comes when people despise the process. They look at others who are ahead and say, "I'll never get there." They forget that those people also began small. Every expert was once a beginner. Every champion once struggled. Every leader once doubted. What separates them from the rest is that they didn't give up when their progress felt insignificant. They kept watering their seed. They kept showing up. They understood that small progress is still progress. The one who does a little every day will go further than the one who plans much but does nothing. Laziness whispers, "You're not making any difference." But faith whispers back, "Keep going. Every small act counts." When you refuse to despise small beginnings, you develop endurance. You learn to appreciate the process. You stop chasing instant success and start building lasting strength. The little habits you build today, waking up on time, practicing your craft, studying, praying, thinking positively, become the strong pillars that hold up your future. Without them, your success will collapse the moment pressure comes. Discipline in the small things is the true mark of greatness. Anyone can start big when the world is watching, but it takes true strength to stay faithful when no one notices. The athlete who trains quietly when no crowd is cheering, the student who studies when friends are playing, the dreamer who keeps working even when results are slow, these are the ones who conquer laziness and rise above mediocrity. Small daily victories create unstoppable momentum. The truth is, you will never wake up one morning suddenly transformed into the person you dream of becoming. You will grow into that person through daily decisions, through small, consistent acts of effort. One page read today becomes a library of wisdom tomorrow. One workout becomes strength. One disciplined hour becomes a lifetime of excellence. The key is to start and to keep going, even when it feels small. So don't let laziness mock your humble start. Don't let impatience make you quit. The seed planted today may look insignificant, but with time it becomes a forest. The brick you lay today becomes a fortress. Success is not built in a moment. It is built in a rhythm of daily effort, daily faith, daily focus. Small beginnings are not your limitation. They are your preparation. They teach you to value growth, to trust timing, to depend on persistence. Those who rush skip the lessons. but those who stay faithful to the small things rise to greatness that cannot be shaken. So start where you are, use what you have, do what you can, and soon, what was once small will become something extraordinary. The mind is the battlefield of destiny. Every victory or defeat in life begins first in your thoughts. Laziness is not simply a problem of the body, it is a sickness of the mind. Before your hands stop working, your thoughts have already stopped believing. Before your body lies down in comfort, your mind has already accepted defeat. That is why if you want to destroy laziness, you must first renew your mind every single day. The renewal of the mind is the renewal of life. A person with a strong and renewed mind cannot be lazy because their thoughts are full of purpose, direction, and power. Your thoughts shape your habits, and your habits shape your destiny. If your mind is filled with excuses, fear, and doubt, then your life will reflect that weakness. But if your mind is filled with faith, gratitude, and determination, your actions will follow. The mind leads, the body follows. Renewing your mind daily means choosing what thoughts you allow to live inside you. It means refusing to let negative, lazy, and hopeless thoughts take root. Every morning, you must decide to feed your mind with vision, with purpose, with faith. Because the truth is, the world around you is constantly trying to make you tired of trying, tired of hoping, tired of waiting. It will tell you it's useless, give up, just relax. And if you listen long enough, you'll start to believe it. That's why your mind must be guarded, refreshed, and renewed each day. A renewed mind doesn't wake up thinking, I have to work again. It wakes up thinking, I get another chance to grow, to move forward, to become better. Gratitude is the foundation of renewal. When you begin your day with gratitude, laziness begins to lose power. Gratitude opens your eyes to opportunity. It reminds you that every breath you take is a gift, that every morning is a new chance to change. Lazy people complain about what they don't have. Disciplined people thank God for what they do have and use it well. Gratitude ignites energy. It awakens joy. It transforms ordinary effort into meaningful progress. Renewing your mind also means feeding it the right words. Words have power. What you say to yourself determines how you act. If you keep saying, I'm tired, I can't do this, I'll never change, then your body will obey those words. But when you start declaring, I am strong, I am disciplined, I am focused, something shifts inside you. Your mind begins to align with your destiny instead of your weakness. You start walking with purpose. You start working with passion. That is why lazy thoughts must be replaced by powerful affirmations. Speak to your mind like a leader, not like a victim. Tell yourself, I was not born to waste my life. I was created to achieve something meaningful. I will not let comfort destroy my purpose. Renewal also comes through focus. In a world full of distractions, laziness grows wherever attention is scattered. Every notification, every unnecessary scroll, every wasted hour weakens your discipline. You must train your mind to focus on what truly matters. When your mind is clear, your path becomes clear. Focus cuts through confusion. It gives you direction. It tells your body where to go and what to do. The reason many people live in frustration is not because they lack ability, but because their minds are filled with clutter. They think of too many things but commit to none. A renewed mind knows how to say no, not out of arrogance, but out of clarity. It says no to distractions so it can say yes to destiny. Another part of renewing your mind is feeding it with truth. The more you learn, the stronger your thoughts become. Reading, listening, learning, these are acts of renewal. When you fill your mind with wisdom, laziness begins to suffocate, because laziness feeds on ignorance, on the belief that effort doesn't matter. But knowledge gives you vision. It reminds you that every action counts, that every small step matters, that every seed planted has the power to grow. Never stop learning, never stop improving your mind, never stop feeding your thoughts with ideas that build rather than break you. Renewing your mind also means controlling what you imagine. Your imagination is powerful. If you constantly imagine failure, you will attract fear. But if you imagine success, you attract energy. Visualization is not fantasy, it's preparation. When you see yourself becoming better, you begin to behave like that person. When you imagine yourself diligent, focused, and fruitful, your mind starts aligning with that image. The problem with lazy people is that they imagine the work instead of the reward. They see the pain instead of the purpose. But those who renew their minds see the end result, the victory, the growth, the transformation. And because they see it so clearly, they cannot sit still. A renewed mind also requires faith that your effort is not in vain, that your struggle will produce fruit. Faith energizes the spirit. It tells you that even when you don't see results yet, progress is happening. Laziness thrives in doubt. When you stop believing that what you do matters, you stop doing anything. But when faith fills your heart, laziness flees. Faith tells you, keep going, your time is coming. Don't quit, the breakthrough is near. Renew your mind daily with gratitude, with truth, with faith, with focus, because your outer life is just a reflection of your inner thoughts. If you want to rise higher, you must think higher. If you want to act better, you must believe better. Every morning is an opportunity to reset your thinking, to replace excuses with purpose, to silence doubt with determination. Laziness can only live in a weak mind, but a mind filled with purpose, fed by faith, strengthened by gratitude, and directed by focus, that mind cannot be lazy. That mind becomes unstoppable. So guard your thoughts as you would guard treasure. Feed your mind with power, not poison. Speak life, not defeat. Dream big, act daily, and keep renewing your mind until your thinking and your destiny align. Because when your mind is renewed, laziness loses its throne, and your spirit begins to reign. There is a divine law written into the fabric of life, the law of diligence. It says that whatever you sow with consistency, effort, and faith will eventually produce a harvest. Diligence is not just about hard work. It is about the spirit behind the work. It is about doing what is right, even when no one sees. It is about giving your best, even when the reward is not immediate. Diligence is not glamorous. It often happens in silence, in the unseen hours, in the early mornings and late nights when others are resting. But it is in those quiet moments that destinies are shaped. The reward of diligence may not come overnight, but it always comes in time, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Laziness promises comfort, but delivers emptiness. Diligence promises struggle, but delivers fulfillment. Lazy people chase rest and end up restless. Diligent people embrace effort and end up in peace. Because there is no greater satisfaction than knowing you gave your best, that you left nothing undone. The diligent person wakes up each day with purpose. They understand that life owes them nothing, but gives everything to those who work faithfully. Laziness waits for luck, but diligence creates opportunity. Where the lazy wait for a door to open, the diligent build their own door. The reward of diligence is not just in the outcome, but in the transformation it brings. Every act of effort strengthens your character. Every disciplined day sharpens your spirit. Diligence trains your soul to endure, to persist, to focus. It teaches you that greatness is not a gift, it's a habit. People often envy the success of others, but few are willing to endure their discipline. Behind every breakthrough is a story of perseverance that no one saw. Behind every shining moment is 1,000 ordinary moments of hard work, struggle, and persistence. The reward of diligence is that it makes you stronger than your excuses. A diligent person does not chase perfection, they chase progress. They understand that excellence is built through repetition, through doing the small things with consistency and passion. The lazy person gives up when the results are slow, but the diligent understand that growth takes time. A seed does not bear fruit in a day, yet the diligent farmer still waters it daily, knowing that one day it will bloom. The same is true for your life. The small efforts you make today, the habits you form, the tasks you finish, the goals you move toward may seem insignificant, but they are forming your future. Diligence is not about speed, it's about endurance. There is also a spiritual reward that comes with diligence. When you work faithfully with what you have, you attract favor. Life begins to open doors for you because effort draws grace. The universe honors movement. When you show commitment, when you act with persistence, opportunities begin to recognize you. Many people pray for success, but prayer without effort is empty. True faith is shown through diligence, through taking what you have and multiplying it. Even the smallest talent, when used faithfully, brings increase, but what you neglect you lose. Laziness wastes blessings, but diligence multiplies them. The diligent person does not only work for success, they work for growth. They understand that hard work refines the soul. It builds humility because you realize that success is not automatic, it is earned. It builds gratitude because you begin to appreciate the value of effort. It builds integrity because you stop cutting corners and start doing what's right, even when no one watches. Diligence transforms not just what you achieve, but who you become. It teaches you discipline, patience, resilience, and self-respect. The lazy person is always wishing. They live in the land of someday. Someday I'll start. Someday I'll change. Someday I'll work harder. But someday never comes. The diligent live in the land of today. They say, I'll begin now. I'll do what I can. I'll make this day count. And that small difference, that decision to act, changes everything. While laziness dreams, diligence builds. While laziness waits, diligence moves. And life rewards the movers, not the waiters. Diligence also brings peace of mind. When you know you've done your best, you can rest without regret. But laziness always leaves you uneasy because deep inside, you know you could have done more. The diligent rest after effort. The lazy rest before it. And that is the difference between fulfillment and frustration. The diligent can look back at their days and say, I gave my all, while the lazy look back and say, I wish I had. Another reward of diligence is influence. People are drawn to the diligent because diligence radiates trust and excellence. The world looks for people who can be relied upon, who don't quit when things get hard. When you live diligently, you earn respect not through words, but through consistency. People start to notice your reliability, your persistence, your excellence. They begin to trust you with greater opportunities. Diligence creates a reputation that laziness can never buy. But perhaps the greatest reward of diligence is that it aligns you with your purpose. You were not created to drift through life doing the minimum. You were created to create, to build, to contribute, to grow. Diligence awakens that divine part of you that longs to make a difference. When you give yourself fully to your work, when you pour your heart into what you do, you experience the joy of creation. You touch the power of purpose. You realize that the work itself is sacred, so rise each morning with diligence in your heart. Refuse to be ruled by comfort or delay. Let your hands be strong, your mind focused, and your spirit determined. Know that every act of effort counts. Every task done with excellence matters. Every small victory builds something eternal. The path of diligence is not always easy, but it is always worth it. Because the reward of diligence is more than success. It is fulfillment, strength, and peace. Laziness will promise you an easy life but leave you with nothing. Diligence may demand effort, but it will give you everything: growth, respect, purpose, and joy. So choose the path of diligence today. Work with your heart, give your best, stay faithful, because when you walk diligently, life itself begins to honor you. And the reward you receive will not only change your life, it will echo through generations. There is a battle that every human being must face, the battle between comfort and calling. Laziness whispers, rest a little longer, but purpose shouts, rise and move. The seventh and final truth is this: you must rise and fight, because your destiny depends on it. When you allow laziness to control your choices, you are not just losing time, you are losing purpose, strength, and divine opportunity. Life will never wait for the one who delays. The clock moves forward, and every moment you surrender to laziness is a moment you will never recover. But when you decide to rise, to fight back, to destroy laziness before it destroys you, everything begins to shift. The energy you thought you had lost begins to return. The confidence you once doubted begins to rise again. Laziness always begins as comfort but ends as regret. It promises you rest, but it steals your peace. It promises freedom, but it traps you in mediocrity. You tell yourself, "I'll take it easy today." And before you know it, a week, a month, even a year has passed, and you're still in the same place. You see others growing, moving forward, building, creating, and something inside you whispers, "That could have been me." The truth is, it could have been if only you had chosen effort over ease, action over hesitation. That is why you must rise today, not tomorrow. You cannot change yesterday, but you can redeem today. When you rise, you break the spell of laziness. The first act of movement is the most powerful. Even if it's small, getting out of bed earlier, writing one page, taking one step, it awakens your spirit. Momentum begins to build, and suddenly the impossible feels possible. The hardest part of any battle is not the fight itself. It's the decision to start. Once you begin, strength finds you. Every act of movement becomes an act of victory over your weaker self. Every time you choose discipline over delay, you grow. But this fight requires more than motivation. It requires conviction. Motivation fades when life gets tough, but conviction stays. You must decide deep within that laziness will no longer rule you. You must speak to yourself and declare, "I am stronger than my comfort. I will not be controlled by feelings. I will rise, I will act, I will move." That inner decision marks the death of laziness. Because laziness can only survive where there is indecision. Once you make a clear choice to act, laziness loses its power. There is also something spiritual in rising. When you rise, you align yourself with the rhythm of creation. Everything in life moves, the sun rises, the rivers flow, the wind blows. Stillness in nature means death, decay, and stagnation. Life itself favors movement. When you move with purpose, you join that divine rhythm. But when you remain idle, you resist the natural flow of progress, and slowly your spirit begins to die. That is why laziness feels heavy, because your soul was never created for inactivity. You were born to move, to create, to grow, to build. Every person who has ever achieved anything meaningful has fought this same battle. They were not superhuman, they were simply determined. They got tired too, they felt discouraged too, but they refused to stay down. They rose again and again, no matter how many times laziness tried to pull them back into comfort. Their reward came not from talent alone, but from persistence. It is persistence, the courage to continue, that separates those who dream from those who achieve. Laziness thrives in the absence of vision, but when you remember your why, your reason for living, it loses its hold. Think of your future, the person you want to become, the life you want to live, the impact you want to make. Ask yourself, will this lazy moment bring me closer or farther from that vision? Every action you take is either feeding your destiny or feeding your delay. Choose carefully. Your time is the most precious thing you have. Spend it on building your future, not protecting your comfort. There will be days when you don't feel like doing anything. That's when you must remember, feelings are temporary, but results are lasting. The lazy wait to feel ready, the diligent act their way into readiness. Action creates energy, and privacy than once you nature Betty, the resistance fades. The body follows the decision of the mind, so decide firmly that laziness will no longer have a place in your life. You are not weak, you are not unmotivated, you are simply one decision away from transformation. When you rise, you inspire others too. Your energy awakens those around you. People see your discipline, your focus, your growth, and they begin to believe that they too can overcome their own laziness. Diligence is contagious. When you walk with purpose, others feel it. You become a light in a world that has grown comfortable with delay. And that is one of the greatest rewards, to know that your effort not only changed your life, but also lit the fire in someone else's. So rise, shake off the dust of delay. Refuse to live one more day chained to comfort. There is greatness inside you, waiting to be awakened. There are dreams waiting to be fulfilled, lives waiting to be touched, and opportunities waiting to meet your effort. Don't let laziness rob you of the life you were born to live. Every second wasted in laziness is a seed of regret, but every second spent in diligence is a seed of legacy. You have slept long enough. Now is the time to move. Now is the time to act. Rise in strength. Rise in purpose. Rise in faith. The moment you stand up against laziness, the universe stands with you. The doors that once seemed closed begin to open. The paths that once seemed impossible begin to clear. Because life always honors those who choose action over apathy. Destroy laziness before it destroys you. Refuse to be a prisoner of your own comfort. Step into the power of effort, faith, and purpose. You were not created to survive. You were created to rise, to build, and to conquer. So rise now, and let the world see what happens when a determined soul decides to fight back. There is one truth that cannot be denied. No one becomes great by accident. Behind every strong, successful, fulfilled person lies a spirit of consistency, focus, and self-mastery. The eighth truth is this: you must take full responsibility for your life, because no one else will live it for you. Laziness always seeks someone to blame: circumstances, environment, upbringing, lack of support. But diligence accepts responsibility. It says, my life is my responsibility, my growth is my duty, my future is in my hands. The moment you stop blaming and start building, you begin to destroy laziness from its roots. Laziness thrives where there is entitlement. It makes you believe the world owes you something, an opportunity, a favor, a shortcut. But life doesn't reward wishful thinking. It rewards faithful effort. You must come to the place where you understand that no one is coming to rescue you. The help you are waiting for is hidden in the strength you already have. The opportunity you keep praying for is waiting for you to take action. Once you take responsibility, power returns to your hands. The same energy that was once wasted on complaints becomes fuel for creation. Responsibility is freedom, because when you accept that your life is yours to shape, nothing can hold you captive. Laziness makes you a spectator in your own story. You watch others' lives succeed, grow, and you convince yourself that your time will come automatically. But your time will not come by waiting, it will come by working. You cannot drift into destiny, you must drive toward it. Every decision you make either builds or breaks your future. And the hardest truth is this: the person you will be 5 years from now depends on the choices you make today. If you choose excuses, you will inherit regret. If you choose effort, you will inherit greatness. The harvest always matches the seed. Taking responsibility means doing what needs to be done, even when no one tells you to. It means setting your own standards higher than anyone expects. Lazy people only work when someone watches. Diligent people work even when no one notices, because they are not performing for applause, they are preparing for destiny. True discipline is private. It's in the choices you make when you could have chosen comfort. It's in how you manage your time, your energy, your mind. Every small act of responsibility, waking up early, finishing what you start, improving a skill, keeping your word, shapes your future. Responsibility may not look exciting, but it builds a foundation strong enough to carry greatness. When you take full responsibility, you stop making room for laziness. There's no more space for blame, no more space for delay. You begin to think differently. You stop asking, "Why is life unfair?" and start asking, "What can I do with what I have?" That simple shift in thinking turns victims into victors. Life is not fair to anyone, but it favors those who keep moving forward anyway. You cannot control every event, but you can control your attitude, your response, your effort. Responsibility is not about perfection, it's about progress. It's not about never falling, it's about refusing to stay down. Laziness tells you you've done enough, when in truth you've only scratched the surface. It teaches you to settle for average when excellence is within reach, but when you live with responsibility, you stop settling. You begin to demand more of yourself, not because others expect it, but because you know you were created for more. You start seeing every challenge as a test of strength, every obstacle as an invitation to grow. Responsibility changes your language from "I can't" to "I will." It teaches you that life doesn't give you what you wish for. It gives you what you work for. Taking responsibility also means mastering your emotions. Many people let their moods control their actions. They only work when they feel inspired. But responsible people understand that emotions are temporary while purpose is permanent. You may not always feel like working, learning, or improving, but you do it anyway because you are committed to growth. Responsibility is not about feeling ready. It's about doing what's right regardless of how you feel. Laziness follows feelings, diligence follows principles. You must also take responsibility for your thoughts. Every action begins as a thought. If your thoughts are undisciplined, your life will be the same. Train your mind to focus on solutions, not problems. Replace "I can't" with "how can I?" Replace "I failed" with "I learned." Replace "it's too hard" with "it's worth it." A responsible mind looks for opportunity in adversity. It refuses to be defeated by temporary setbacks. The lazy mind sees obstacles as reasons to quit. The diligent mind sees them as reasons to grow stronger. And remember this: responsibility is not just about doing more, it's about becoming more. It's about being the kind of person others can depend on, the kind of person who keeps promises, the kind of person who leads by example. When you live responsibly, your life begins to inspire others without you even trying. People trust you because they see your consistency. They respect you because they see your integrity. Responsibility earns what laziness envies. There will be moments when taking responsibility feels heavy, when the effort seems too much, when no one appreciates what you do. But understand this: your work is not in vain. Every seed of responsibility you plant today will produce a harvest of honor tomorrow. Keep doing the right thing even when it's hard. Keep showing up even when it's lonely. The path of responsibility is narrow, but it leads to greatness. So today, make a decision. Stop waiting for others to push you. Stop blaming the past. Stop hiding behind excuses. Take ownership of your future. You have one life, one opportunity, one chance to write your story. Don't let laziness hold the pen. Take it back and write boldly, with discipline, courage, and purpose. You are capable of more than you imagine. But that greatness will only appear when you rise, take responsibility, and act. Because in the end, life gives its best not to those who wait, not to those who complain, but to those who take full responsibility for who they are and who they are becoming. And when you do that, when you truly own your life, laziness will have no place left to live within you.